Chosen one, pause for a moment. The wisdom they mocked in you is becoming the truth they cannot deny anymore. You were not overthinking. You were not being dramatic. You were reading a pattern their eyes were too distracted to see. And now someone is quietly replaying your words, realizing they should have believed you the first time. This message did not reach you by accident. Heaven knows the exact wound this season has been pressing on. You gave warnings no one respected. You sensed shifts no one wanted to hear. You felt something was wrong before the evidence appeared, and because they could not see it yet, they made you feel strange for seeing it first. They called it sensitivity. They called it imagination. They called it fear. Some even smiled while dismissing the very wisdom that was trying to protect them. But deep inside, you knew there was more happening beneath the surface, because your spirit kept picking up signals their logic was too slow to recognize. You tried to explain yourself calmly. You tried to choose the right words. You tried to make the truth gentle enough for them to receive. And still, they treated your discernment like a burden, as if the gift God placed inside you was only an inconvenience to their comfort. That is why this cut so deeply. It was not only that they did not believe you, it was that their disbelief made you question the part of you that had been right all along. You started asking yourself if you were too intense, too careful, too watchful, too deep for ordinary rooms. Listen carefully. That question was never planted by God. It was planted by repeated dismissal. When people ignore your wisdom long enough, the enemy tries to turn their blindness into your insecurity. But heaven did not give you discernment, so you could shrink it whenever someone unprepared feels challenged. There is someone connected to this message who regrets not listening. They may not say it out loud yet. Their pride may still be standing in the doorway, but something has shifted in their mind, and now the same words they once brushed aside are rising again like a witness they cannot silence. Stay with this, because before this part is over, your spirit will recognize why you had to see it early, why they had to doubt it for a season, and why the regret they feel now is not about you winning an argument. It is about heaven confirming a wisdom they were not ready to honor. You have lived through moments where the room laughed too quickly. You noticed the tone that changed. You saw the hidden motive behind a friendly smile. You felt the distance before the relationship broke. You sensed the delay before the door closed. And when you tried to speak, they made you feel like the problem was your perception. But your perception was not broken. Your spirit was trained in places other people avoided. You learned to read silence, because silence was often where danger hid. You learned to notice patterns, because repeated pain taught you to stop ignoring small warnings. You learned to listen beneath words, because words had failed you before. This is why ordinary people misunderstand you. They think wisdom is only what sounds smart in public. But the wisdom of a chosen one often moves quietly. It shows up as a pause before saying yes. It shows up as discomfort around a person everyone else trusts. It shows up as a knowing you cannot explain yet. And that is the painful part. You often know before you can prove. You often feel before facts arrive. You often sense the ending while everyone is still celebrating the beginning. So you carry the weight of seeing early, while also carrying the loneliness of being doubted until time exposes what your spirit already knew. Some of you warned someone about a relationship. Some of you warned someone about a decision. Some of you warned someone about a person whose energy did not sit right. Some of you simply pulled back because your spirit said something was off, and they accused you of being cold. Now look at what happened. The same thing you sensed began to reveal itself. The mask slipped. The story changed. The hidden intention became visible. The delay made sense. The betrayal showed its pattern. And suddenly, the people who once treated your wisdom like noise are realizing it was protection. Do not let that make you bitter. Bitterness would lower the very wisdom this season is confirming. You are not here to celebrate their regret like a trophy. You are here to understand why God allowed the delay in their recognition, because early recognition would have fed your ego before it strengthened your assignment. You wanted them to believe you right away. That is honest. You wanted one person to say, "I see what you see." You wanted your words to matter before the damage happened. And when they ignored you, it felt like your heart had been left standing outside a locked door, holding a key no one wanted. But heaven saw the key. Heaven saw the weight of it. Heaven saw how many times you stayed quiet because speaking only brought conflict. Heaven saw you swallowing truth to keep peace with people who were more loyal to comfort than correction. Nothing about that was invisible. You may have even apologized for your wisdom. Think about that. You softened what you knew. You watered down what you felt. You said, "Maybe I am wrong," when your spirit was sounding a clear alarm. And the saddest part is that you did it because you did not want to lose people who were already failing to honor you. Chosen one, you were not created to betray your knowing for acceptance. You were not created to make your discernment small enough for unbelieving hearts. You can be gentle without being silent. You can be humble without calling your wisdom a mistake. You can love people without letting their blindness rename your gift. There is a reason this confirmation is arriving now. Not last month, not when you begged for it, not when your reputation felt bruised. Now, because God waited until your heart could receive vindication without turning it into arrogance. And that maturity is proof that your wisdom has been refined. Someone is looking back at the moments they dismissed you. They remember your facial expression. They remember the sentence you said quietly. They remember the way you stepped away when everyone else leaned in. They remember how calm you were, and that calmness is now bothering them more than any argument could have. Why does it bother them? Because wisdom without noise is hard to attack. You did not force, you did not beg, you did not chase them around trying to prove a point. You spoke what you could speak, you held what you had to hold, and time became the witness that stood up on your behalf. This is the first confirmation. You were not ignored because your wisdom was weak. You were ignored because it was early. Early truth often sounds strange to people who only trust what has already happened. But the chosen one is often given sight before the crowd receives evidence, because someone must stand at the gate before danger arrives. Chosen one, what happened to you was not random rejection. It was the pain of speaking from a place other people had not reached yet. You were not wrong because they needed time. You were not confused because they needed proof. Sometimes heaven lets a truth arrive through one person before the rest of the room has the capacity to receive it. That is why their disbelief wounded you so deeply. You were not asking them to worship your opinion. You were asking them to respect the warning your spirit could not ignore. And when they laughed, resisted, or dismissed you, it felt like they were not only rejecting your words, they were rejecting the part of you God had trained through pain. Here is the reframe your heart needs. They did not fail to believe you because your wisdom was empty. They failed to believe you because your wisdom was ahead of their comfort. People often reject early truth because early truth requires them to change before the consequence becomes visible. You saw the pattern while it was still small. You felt the shift while it was still quiet. You noticed the spirit behind the action before the action became public. And because nothing had happened yet, they thought your discernment was too serious, when really it was moving faster than their evidence. This is why I need you to stop apologizing for seeing early. Early sight is not a flaw. It is part of the assignment. The watchman does not wait until the city is burning before sounding the alarm. The watchman speaks when the smoke is still thin, when others are sleeping, and when danger still looks harmless. And later, I will show you why this kind of clarity is not only spiritual language. There is a brainwave connected to intuition and flow, and there is a 7-minute audio called the Genius Song created to help restore what modern life tried to quiet. Do not rush that part. For now, understand this. Your clarity was not imagination. You have been carrying a kind of wisdom that does not always arrive as a sentence. Sometimes it arrives as heaviness in your chest. Sometimes it arrives as a pause in your spirit. Sometimes it arrives as a sudden knowing that a path may look open, but the energy around it is not clean. That is discernment. The world teaches people to trust only what can be explained instantly, but God often trains His chosen ones to recognize what cannot be explained yet. He lets you sense the shift before the report comes. He lets you feel the motive before the confession appears. He lets you step back before the trap closes. This is why you have felt lonely in your wisdom. You were watching layers while others were watching surfaces. You were reading the fruit while others were admiring the leaves. You were listening to tone, timing, silence, and repetition. And because your mind saw connections they could not see, they called you difficult. But being difficult to deceive is not the same as being difficult to love. Some people made you feel guilty because you would not ignore what your spirit knew. They wanted your kindness without accountability to your discernment. They wanted your warmth, but not your wisdom. So when you spoke truth, they framed it as negativity. When you asked a question, they framed it as suspicion. When you pulled back, they framed it as pride. But now the same pattern you noticed is showing itself in a language they can no longer deny. And that is why regret is beginning to move through their mind. They are not only regretting a conversation, they are regretting the moment they chose comfort over truth. They are remembering that you did not speak from hatred, you spoke from concern. You spoke from a place that wanted to prevent damage, not create drama. And now they see that the drama came from ignoring the warning. Chosen one, this is where your healing begins. You do not need to replay every moment and punish yourself for not explaining better. You explained enough. You loved enough. You warned enough. The people assigned to hear would have felt the weight behind your words. Some people cannot receive wisdom until loss humbles them. That is not your fault. Some people will not honor a gentle warning until a loud consequence forces them to listen. That is not your burden. You were never called to become the consequence. You were called to speak the truth and release the outcome. Look at Joseph. He carried dreams before anyone around him had the maturity to honor them. His brothers did not celebrate the vision. They mocked it. They hated it. They tried to bury the one who saw ahead. But their rejection did not cancel the dream, because what God reveals early cannot be destroyed by people who are late. Joseph did not become wise after they believed him. He was already carrying the wisdom when they doubted him. The palace did not create his gift. The pit proved it. The prison refined it. The delay protected it from arrogance. And by the time the world needed interpretation, the one they dismissed had become the one they needed. That is your pattern. You wanted immediate confirmation, but God was building a wisdom that could survive being ignored. You wanted people to say you were right, but heaven was teaching you to stand even when no one clapped. You wanted relief, but God was giving you authority that would not depend on agreement. Think about David. Before Goliath ever fell, David was already carrying a secret history with God. So when his brothers dismissed him on the battlefield, their dismissal did not define his capacity. They thought he was too young. They thought he was too small. They thought he was out of place. But David had already been trained by battles that were private. That is how God works with chosen ones. He builds wisdom in hidden rooms before public recognition arrives, so the crowd cannot take credit for what only heaven developed. You have private battles too. You survived things people never studied. You learned from betrayals they never witnessed. You developed discernment through seasons where smiling faces hid sharp intentions. So when you sense something now, it is not random suspicion. It is wisdom formed through fire. This is why your words carry weight. Even when they pretend not to listen, part of them hears you. Even when they roll their eyes, your words remain in the back of their mind, like a seed waiting for the right pain to water it. And now the seed is opening. That is why someone is remembering. That is why they cannot shake your sentence. That is why the thing they called too much is beginning to sound accurate. They may not have the humility to apologize yet, but their spirit knows there was truth in what you carried. Do not chase the apology. Do not demand the admission. Do not make your healing dependent on their courage. Their regret is not your altar. Let God deal with their heart while He restores yours. The assignment now is not to prove that you were wise. The assignment now is to stop hiding the wisdom that has already been confirmed. Stay with me. In the next part, you will see the deeper pattern behind this season, because Scripture has shown this again and again. God often hides the wise one in plain sight, lets the proud dismiss them, and then uses time itself to reveal who was truly listening to heaven. Chosen one, now we go deeper. This is not only about someone finally realizing you were wise. This is about a pattern heaven has repeated with chosen vessels for generations. God often gives sight to the one who will be doubted first, because early sight must be purified before public recognition arrives. Joseph saw before his brothers understood. He carried dreams that sounded too large for the room he was standing in. They heard his words, but they did not have the humility to recognize the source. So they mocked the messenger, because the message made them feel small. But their mockery did not cancel his wisdom. Their jealousy did not erase his assignment. Their disbelief did not make his dreams false. In fact, their rejection became part of the road God used to place him where his wisdom would save lives. This is why you must not measure your discernment by the first reaction of people around you. Some people reject a word from God simply because it comes through a person they are used to underestimating. Familiarity can make blind hearts dishonor holy insight. They saw your face, so they missed the weight. They knew your past, so they dismissed your growth. They remembered the version of you that was still healing, so they could not accept the version of you that now sees clearly. That is why their disbelief was never a reliable measurement. David carried this same pattern. Before the battlefield recognized him, the field had already trained him. Before people heard his name, heaven had already watched him protect sheep in secret. He did not need applause to become prepared, because the oil on his life was confirmed before the crowd arrived. When David stood near Goliath, his own brothers questioned his motives. They did not hear courage, they heard arrogance. They did not see preparation. They saw a younger brother speaking too boldly. But the giant fell because God had already built David in private. That is where you are. You have been trained in private. You learned wisdom in rooms where nobody clapped. You learned restraint when you wanted to defend yourself. You learned silence when your spirit knew more than your mouth was allowed to say. And now time is revealing what private training produced. This is why someone is regretting not believing you. They are not only seeing that you were right, they are seeing that you were formed by something deeper than opinion. They thought you were speaking from emotion, but now they realize your words were coming from discernment. Discernment is not panic. Discernment is not suspicion. Discernment is not the fear of being hurt again. True discernment is a clean inner witness that keeps speaking even when your ego would rather be comfortable. It does not scream for attention, but it refuses to disappear. You know this feeling. It is quiet but firm. It does not always give you a full explanation. It simply presses on your spirit and says, "Look closer. Slow down. Do not agree yet. Do not open that door yet. Do not ignore what keeps returning to your mind." This is where the spiritual and the physical begin to touch. When your spirit is clear, your mind can carry instruction without distortion. But when your mind is foggy, exhausted, overstimulated, and trained to doubt itself, even a true warning can feel confusing inside you. That is why restoration matters. Chosen one, you can be spiritually gifted and mentally tired at the same time. You can hear deeply and still struggle to trust what you hear. You can have wisdom inside you while modern noise, stress, and constant distraction make that wisdom harder to access. This is where the gamma conversation matters. Some researchers connect gamma brainwave activity with focus, intuition, flow, and those sudden moments when scattered pieces become one clear picture. Dr. Robert Lake built the Genius song around that kind of restoration, not to replace God, but to help quiet what modern life has made loud. Do not misunderstand this. A tool does not make you chosen. A sound does not give you an assignment. God gives the calling. God gives the gift. But sometimes your vessel needs support, because a tired mind can make a clear spirit feel distant. That is why many chosen ones feel frustrated. They know something is inside them. They remember being sharper as a child. They remember sensing things quickly, learning quickly, connecting patterns without trying. Then life became heavier, and the clarity that once felt natural started to feel buried. This is why heaven is not only proving you right. Heaven is calling you back to clarity. Recognition from others is not enough if you still do not trust the wisdom within yourself. Their regret can confirm you for a moment, but restored inner clarity can guide you for the next season. And this is the hidden blocker. The deepest wound was not that they doubted you. The deepest wound is that you started doubting yourself after they doubted you long enough. You began treating your own discernment like it needed permission from people who could not even read the room. That is the part God is healing now. He is not only showing them that you were right, He is showing you that you were allowed to know, you were allowed to sense, you were allowed to pause, you were allowed to say no before the evidence made sense to everyone else. So if you feel tired right now, do not call that weakness. If your wisdom feels quieter than before, do not call that failure. If your discernment has been buried under disappointment, do not call that the end. Sometimes God restores the vessel before He increases the assignment. The enemy knows this. He does not always need to destroy your gift. Sometimes he only needs to make you suspicious of it. If he can make you call your wisdom overthinking, he can make you ignore the warning. If he can make you call your clarity pride, he can make you stay silent. But today, that agreement breaks. You are not arrogant for acknowledging wisdom. You are not negative for seeing patterns. You are not hard to love because you need truth. You are not too much because your spirit refuses to clap for what heaven is warning you about. The people who regret not believing you are facing their own lesson. Let them face it. Do not rescue them from the discomfort of realizing they dismissed a voice God used to warn them. Some lessons must sting before humility can enter. Your lesson is different. Your lesson is to stop needing their regret to validate your sight. Their regret is only a mirror. It reflects what heaven already knew. You were carrying wisdom before they recognized it, and you will still carry wisdom after their emotions settle. This is the shift. You are moving from being the doubted one to being the trusted one. You are moving from explaining yourself to embodying peace. You are moving from proving your insight to stewarding it. And stewardship is heavier than applause. Stay with me now. The next part is where the regret becomes visible, and where the deepest truth will hit your spirit. They are not only sorry because they ignored your words, they are shaken because they now realize you were the one person who saw the ending, while everyone else was still applauding the beginning. Chosen one, this is where the truth becomes visible. Someone is replaying the moment they ignored you. They remember the warning. They remember your face. They remember how calm your voice sounded. Now the outcome is speaking louder than your explanation ever could. They thought time would prove you wrong. Instead, time became the witness. The mask slipped, the motive surfaced, the consequence arrived. The thing you sensed in silence finally stepped into the light, and now they cannot pretend your discernment was just emotion. This is the part that may hit your spirit. Their regret is not only about ignoring advice, it is about realizing they dismissed the one person heaven allowed to see the pattern early. They thought you were being difficult, but you were being protective. They thought you were resisting, but you were discerning. And the deepest truth is this: the most dangerous wound was not that they refused to believe you. The most dangerous wound was that their refusal almost made you stop believing yourself. That is where the enemy aimed. Not at your reputation, but at your inner trust. But that season is breaking now. You are not being confirmed so you can become proud. You are being confirmed so you never abandon the wisdom God trusted you with again. The regret around you is not your throne. It is a mirror showing you what heaven already knew. You were not wrong, you were early. You were not dramatic, you were discerning. You were not hard to deal with, you were hard to deceive. And now the people who needed proof are standing in the proof they demanded, finally understanding why your spirit could not rest. But now comes the responsibility. If God is restoring your confidence, He is doing it because your next season will require clearer wisdom. The doors ahead of you will look attractive. The voices ahead of you will sound convincing. The opportunities ahead of you will need discernment. This is why recognition is not enough. Being proven right may soothe your wound, but it does not restore your inner clarity by itself. You need more than their regret. You need the part of you that second-guessed itself to come back into alignment. Earlier, I told you there is a deeper layer to this clarity. Not everything about discernment is only emotional language. There is a state of mind connected to focus, intuition, flow, and those moments when scattered pieces suddenly become one clear picture. That state is often connected with gamma activity. Researchers have studied gamma in relation to learning, insight, and high-level processing. Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years in neuroscience, studying how sound can help guide the brain back into more powerful patterns of clarity. That is where the Genius song comes in. It is a 7-minute digital audio track made to be heard through headphones. It uses brain entrainment to support gamma activation, not as a replacement for God and not as a replacement for prayer, but as a simple support for the vessel carrying the gift. Listen to the framing. The Genius song does not make you chosen. It does not give you a calling. It does not create wisdom out of nothing. God gives the gift. But if modern stress, exhaustion, noise, and distraction have buried your clarity, a tool that helps quiet the mind can support what was already placed inside you. Many chosen ones remember being sharper when they were younger. You learned quickly. You noticed patterns fast. You felt things before you could explain them. Then life became loud, and the clarity that once felt natural began to feel covered by fog. Dr. Lake designed this audio around that exact problem. Instead of asking you to meditate for an hour, force a mantra, or follow a complicated ritual, the process is simple. You put on headphones, you sit down, you listen for 7 minutes. That is it. The work is tied to brain entrainment principles, with research conversations connected to MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other leading universities. The point is not to impress you with names. The point is that clarity has a measurable side too. A meditation app can cost around $15 a month. An online growth course can cost $100 to $200. A weekend retreat can cost $400 to $800. A therapy session can be around $150. Biofeedback clinics can reach around $300 a session. Those things may help people in different ways, but they are not built to target gamma specifically in a simple 7-minute daily track. The Genius song was originally priced at $49, and for viewers of this message, access is set at $39 as a one-time digital delivery. There is no monthly subscription, there is no shipping, there is no waiting for a package. The audio is delivered by email, so the path is simple. You receive it, use headphones, and begin a daily rhythm around clarity. There are also 4 bonuses included. Genius Child is valued at $19. The classic book is valued at $20. Guided visualization is valued at $29. The 5-habit infographic is valued at $12. Together, the bonuses alone carry $80 in value. You are receiving the core 7-minute audio plus a support stack for daily clarity. The total bonus value is $80, and the access to the main audio is $39. There are already 18,366 users connected to this audio, and what matters even more is the quality signal behind that number. Less than 4% have requested refunds, which means the overwhelming majority continued with it beyond the guarantee window. There is also a 90-day money-back protection. If you use it and decide it is not for you, you can request a full refund. No complicated return is needed because it is digital. And even if you request that refund, you still keep all 4 bonuses with their $80 in value. But please hear this warning clearly. There are imitation pages and copied products using the Genius song name. Some are only ordinary sounds with no real brain entrainment structure. Do not search for random versions on Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, or scattered websites. The protected path is the link in the description and the pinned comment. That is where the original audio, the bonuses, and the 90-day protection are connected. If you choose to receive it, use that path only, because your next step should be clear, not confused. Now pause. Put one hand over your chest if you can. Take one slow breath. This decision is not really about $39. It is about whether you are ready to stop treating your clarity like something optional, when God has been showing you that your wisdom matters. If your spirit says yes, the link is below. Let it be a quiet step, not a pressured one. And when you take it, do it as someone who is no longer willing to live disconnected from the wisdom God placed inside. Do not rush away now. The confirmation has arrived, but confirmation is only the doorway. In the next part, we seal the lesson. Because what happens after people finally see your wisdom matters even more than the moment they realize they should have believed you. Chosen one, now we seal what heaven has revealed. You were not proven right, so you could become cold. You were not confirmed, so you could punish the people who doubted you. You were confirmed, so your heart would stop abandoning the wisdom God placed inside you. Let this settle. Their regret may feel powerful, but your peace is more valuable. An apology may come. It may not. A message may appear. It may stay hidden. But your freedom cannot depend on whether someone has enough humility to admit what time has already exposed. You do not need to stand at their door waiting for validation. You do not need to rehearse the sentence they should say. You do not need to keep your heart attached to the moment they finally realize what you knew. Heaven has already spoken through the outcome, and that is enough. This is where many chosen ones miss the deeper lesson. They get confirmed. Then they become obsessed with being acknowledged. They were right, but they lose peace. They were wise, but they become bitter. They were discerning, but they let the need to be seen become another cage. That will not be your portion. You are not coming out of this season just to become harder. You are coming out clearer. You are coming out quieter. You are coming out with the kind of wisdom that no longer needs to announce itself, because it has learned how to stand. The people who doubted you are facing their own mirror. Let them face it. Do not soften their lesson because discomfort makes you compassionate. Your kindness has often rescued people from consequences they needed, and that is why some of them never learned to honor the wisdom you carried. You can forgive without returning to the same pattern. You can release without reopening the same door. You can pray for them without giving them access to the sacred place where God is restoring you. Forgiveness is not the same as handing your discernment back to people who mishandled it. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders drop. You do not have to defend the past anymore. The truth has already done what your explanation could not do, and now your task is to carry the lesson without carrying the bitterness. Say this in your spirit: I release the need to be believed by people who were not ready for the truth. I release the anger that came from being dismissed. I release the exhaustion of explaining what my spirit knew before their eyes could see. I receive the wisdom God placed inside me. I receive the courage to trust what He shows me. I receive the peace to stay silent when silence is holy, and I receive the strength to speak when truth requires my voice. I will not shrink my discernment to make others comfortable. I will not call my clarity pride. I will not call my wisdom fear. I will not call my early sight a mistake just because someone else needed pain before they could understand. Chosen one, your wisdom is being restored. Not for performance, not for applause, not for the room to finally clap. It is being restored because your next season has decisions attached to it, and those decisions will require a clean inner witness. Some doors will look golden, but your spirit will know they are not assigned. Some voices will sound sweet, but your discernment will hear the hidden motive. Some opportunities will look urgent, but heaven will teach you to pause until peace confirms the path. That is why this moment matters. You are not only leaving behind people who doubted you, you are leaving behind the version of you that needed their belief before trusting God. That version survived, but it cannot lead the next season. The next version of you moves differently. You will not rush to prove. You will not panic when someone misunderstands. You will not argue with mockery. You will not keep handing sacred warnings to people who only want your agreement, not your truth. You will speak when God says speak. You will be silent when God says wait. You will watch without fear. You will love without blindness. You will help without losing yourself. You will forgive without pretending the pattern never happened. This is wisdom with boundaries. This is compassion with clarity. This is humility without self-betrayal. This is the chosen one, learning that being gentle does not mean being easy to manipulate, and being loving does not mean ignoring what heaven revealed. Someone may come back soon. They may speak softly. They may test the door. They may act like nothing happened. Do not be cruel. Do not be cold. But do not be unwise. Let their words be measured against fruit, time, consistency, and peace. Regret is not repentance. Emotion is not transformation. A person can feel sorry because the consequence hurt them, while still refusing to honor the truth that could have saved them. So move slowly. Let God show you the difference. Now place your hand over your heart if you can. Let this declaration become a seal. I am not late. I am being revealed in the right season. I am not rejected. I am being separated from places that could not honor what God entrusted to me. I am not too sensitive. I am spiritually aware. I am not too deep. I am designed to see beneath the surface. I am not hard to love. I am hard to deceive. And that is not a curse. That is protection. I bless the people who doubted me, but I no longer need their belief to obey God. I bless the ones who regret not listening, but I will not build my identity on their regret. I bless the past, and I step forward with clean hands. Heaven is teaching you a higher way. You can be vindicated and still be humble. You can be correct and still be kind. You can be wise and still be soft. You can know the truth and still leave room for God to handle what belongs to Him. The old you would have chased the explanation. The old you would have sent the long message. The old you would have tried one more time to make them understand. But the new you understands that peace is sometimes the final answer. Let them realize. Let them remember. Let them wrestle. Let them sit with the truth. You are not responsible for making their regret comfortable. You are responsible for stewarding the wisdom that this season just confirmed. If this message has confirmed what your spirit already knew, type 777 wisdom confirmed in the comments. Do not type it for attention. Type it as a witness that you are no longer denying what God has been showing you. Subscribe and stay close to this stream of instruction. Not because a channel owns your path, but because this season requires reminders that keep your spirit sharp. You are stepping into days where clarity will matter more than popularity. Before you go, receive this blessing. May every false label fall from your name. May every place that mocked your wisdom lose the power to define you. May every hidden truth come into light at the right time, without you forcing, begging, or proving. May your discernment become clean again. May your mind become quiet enough to hear what God is whispering. May your heart become strong enough to trust the warning before the evidence arrives. May your peace become louder than their regret. They finally see how wise you are, But you are no longer waiting for them to see it. You see it, heaven sees it, and from this day forward, that will be enough.